Now you can listen to WHOW on any Amazon Alexa-enabled device. There are 3 easy steps. Step 1, download the free Alexa app by going to the App Store on your mobile device. Step 2, enable our skill by going to the menu, select Skills, then find WHOW, open the skill. Step 3, activate the skill by saying, Alexa, play WHOW radio. That's all there is to it. And to stop the WHOW stream, just say, Alexa, stop. WHOW, now on the Amazon Alexa app.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio this morning is Lincoln Police Chief Joe Meister. Chief, you staying cool out there?
No, nobody is.
It's a toasty one, isn't it?
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. Your car's working through this heat all right? Nobody's had AC issues or anything?
No, luckily we have a pretty new fleet, and it's keeping up with the heat for right now.
Nice.
As cars age, you see more problems with things like that, but our newer cars are doing pretty well.
Yeah. So probably the number one question you get this time of the year is, all right, it's so hot. Are you actually going to pull me over for that violation I'm committing on the roads right now?
Yeah, of course.
Not going to take a break from those things, are you?
That's what they pay us for.
That's right. Sure. Well, I'm curious, Chief. What do you respond to most? In a heat wave like this?
Yeah. So some of the things that we respond to are just service calls. So some of the elderly community may not have a lot of disposable income. So sometimes they call us asking for help in a heat wave, say if they lose their air conditioning or something, get them over to a family member, just checking on people like that. But as temperatures rise, so do tempers sometimes. So we have a lot of that going on as well during any kind of heat wave like we're dealing with now.
Yeah, that's actually where I was going to go next. I venture to guess the domestic disputes maybe take a little bit of a spike around this time of the year.
Yeah, and that's not uncommon for all jurisdictions. It's not just not just my jurisdiction. That kind of happens everywhere.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what, I wanted to dive into some pretty exciting stuff out of the Lincoln Police Department. The DARE program is very robust in Lincoln. I know you told me you've got a couple of officers in the DARE that do the DARE program in the schools. You've got that DARE training that happens at the Lincoln Police Department. But also recently there was the annual DARE conference in Peoria and some excitement there. Let's just kind of put a bow on the DARE year for your department.
Yeah, so we're very proud of our DARE program and our DARE officers. We currently have four DARE officers assigned that handle schools in Lincoln, but they enjoyed the DARE conference last week, and during that conference, our head DARE officer, Christy Forget, was named the Illinois DARE Officer of the Year. It's a very prestigious award, and we're very, very proud of her accomplishment. She does a fantastic job and was very deserving of that.
Nice. So how does that award work? Is it a peer voted thing? Is it a nominated thing?
Yeah. So they accept nominations for Officer of the Year, for several other awards, meritorious service, things like that, which she was a recipient of in the past. And a panel selects the winner.
Got it. Yeah. So is she pretty widely known because of like your work with the training? Obviously, you've got 4 DARE officers in the community. Is that kind of how folks would know her then?
Yeah. A lot of people recognize all of our officers that are associated with the DARE program. But Christy kind of stands out because she handles the Illinois DARE officer program, which is why the Lincoln Police Department hosts the training every year.
Got it.
In February. So
great resource to have her on staff.
Wonderful.
Yeah. How long has she been with the department?
23 years.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah. Wow. Great. So
hopefully she sticks around for just a while longer. And along those fronts, we also got some really good news from the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board. The Lincoln Police Department was the recipient of a grant through the Training and Standards Board for recruitment and retention.
Okay.
So we get to offer our police officers a bonus to stay on for a certain amount of time through that grant program.
Got it. How much was that grant for? And
$152,175.
Okay. Is that something you had to apply for then?
Yep. The department applied for the grant. It was open to all departments in the state. Just had to do some studying and and do some statistics to apply appropriately.
Pretty competitive grant.
I would say so. Yeah.
I mean, probably everybody wants that money.
I
So
didn't talk to all the chiefs, but I talked to a few of them, and everybody was eyeballing it.
yeah. What do you think's made your department stand out from others, and why you got that grant?
Well, I don't know if we stood out from a lot of others. I think we all experienced the same struggles over the last 5 to 7 years with short staffing and not a lot of applicants. So we were just, I guess, lucky enough to receive it. We had somebody looking out for us. Maybe.
Yeah. I do not mean to suggest your guys do not deserve that. That is not what this comment is intended for, but it would be nice if the state recognized perhaps money isn't the fix-all problem. We could do some things from a legislation standpoint to make the law enforcement environment a little more friendly.
Without a doubt. This last hiring round, we saw a lot more applicants than we did in the 4 or 5 years before that. So I'm hoping that that's starting to swing back toward more positivity toward the career of law enforcement. Yeah.
Well, and just the environment in Illinois, though, is not great, particularly with the legislation and the policy that's come forward the last several years. It's a tough environment in Illinois, particularly.
It is. It's challenging, especially when, the older guys, the guys who've been around for 15, 20, 25 years, kind of always expected things to happen a certain way. We got used to how our laws operated over those years of experience, and for it to change so abruptly, it's been difficult. There's a lot of guys that chose to retire.
No doubt. I want to shift back to the DARE program a little bit, Chief, because to have the quality of a DARE program that you have, to have it recognized probably has to mean a lot to you and your staff.
Absolutely. I couldn't be more proud of all of our DARE officers, not just Christy, and the program that we run. We've been very active. A lot of events that have occurred that maybe weren't publicized. Our DARE officers take a grill out and cook at the baseball games in town, and each one of the junior high classes, we took them up to a Peoria Chiefs game and had a pizza party with them at the end of the school year. Things like that. I think they really make a difference in the community and help the youth to get to know their police officers.
What makes that program worth it to you? I mean, is it reaching one kid? Is it kids coming up to you and your officers many years after they've been through the program? What are things that stand out that say this program is working? This is why we do it.
Yeah, the relationships that the DARE officers build with their students at the time, and then you see them 5 years or longer down the road, and they still remember that DARE officer. They have a personal relationship with them, and I think that can make a big difference, especially if somebody isn't having their best day.
Speak to that a little bit, if you don't mind, that kind of community policing mindset where it's like that positive interaction early with an individual pays off later, where you talk about that it's not their best day, or circumstances outside of their control bring a law enforcement into their life. Speak to that a little bit and why those things are important, that foundational thing.
Yeah, obviously building any kind of rapport with your community is going to have a greater effect when they're not having their best day. Instead of me showing up as an officer that a person's never met and them not knowing what to expect. Conversely, if an officer that they do know that they have a relationship with from years past shows up, they feel more comfortable, and so does the officer in communicating with those folks.
Very true. Very true. Very good, Chief. Well, anything else on the DARE program, the excellence that they've achieved this year, and obviously ongoing? Anything we didn't touch on in that world you want to put out there for us?
No, we have a lot of events coming up, and I'm sure that DARE will continue to be active in them, like the Logan County Fair is coming up in July, and Balloon Fest in August. I'm sure you'll see those folks out there.
Yeah, it's interesting that you continue that engagement with the community even beyond the DARE year, the school year. That's where folks probably know the DARE program the most, is that school year piece, but you're involved even beyond all that.
Absolutely. And one of the great positives about that is during the off season, when the kids aren't in school, they say idle hands can do the devil's work, right? When they're not participating in school functions, those DARE officers are also on a different rotation because they're not in the schools either. So they actively go out and seek the kids of the community out in the parks, give them a basketball, buy them an ice cream, things like that to, I don't know, keep that positive influence up.
Absolutely. Very good. Chief, I'll tell you what, let's break here. Come back with some more. Lincoln Police Chief Joe Meister in studio with us. We'll talk more with him coming up on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
November beans 10.39 down 8. July wheat down 13 3/4, 5.39. September wheat down 13 1/2, 5.56. July bean meal down a dime, 2.80, 2.30. July bean oil 51.95 down $1.28. Livestock trade. August feeders 304.22 up $1.42. June live cattle up 97 cents, 223.27. July wing hogs down $1.37, 112.07. Energy market August crude oil down 3.20, 65.31. And you're listening to VRFD Radio Network.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month. And get a free Roku 4Ls with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
Symptoms can't wait? We have the solution. CEO Paul Scourin here from Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton. Come to our walk-in clinic inside our family medicine. No appointment? No problem. See our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio, Lincoln Police Chief Joe Meister, joins us. And Chief, as we chat for this morning, we're just a few weeks removed from, or coming up on, I guess, the 4th of July holiday. And, you know, always excitement, fireworks, pun intended, if you will, for the 4th of July. And it's going to fall on a Friday, so it's going to be a weekend of festivities for a lot of folks. Let's talk 4th of July, safety, all those things.
Yeah, so obviously the safest way to enjoy 4th of July is to come to the city fireworks that happen out at the Park District. You don't have to worry about your own fingers and toes that way, and you can enjoy a little bit of investment that the city's put in for that big fireworks display. Obviously, there's licenses and things that you have to have nowadays to do your own fireworks displays, and without that, all fireworks are illegal. So we encourage people who want to enjoy their own to get the proper permits and obviously do things in a safe way.
How do you handle those that don't, if you don't mind me asking?
Yep. So typically we respond to fireworks complaints with just a request for compliance to begin with, instead of seizing the fireworks that somebody's purchased with their hard-earned money. We just ask them, you're going to have to find a different location where this is legal to do instead of doing it in town. And if that doesn't work, sometimes people receive citations if they can't knock it off.
You get overwhelmed with those calls?
Oh yeah, the 4th of July is always a busy one. A lot of fireworks calls and a lot of shots fired calls. So sometimes people get confused between the sound of fireworks and gunfire, and those calls all get mixed together, which is sometimes hard to deal with, because every once in a while, obviously, you can have a legitimate shots fired call mixed in there. And
you get much of that in Lincoln these days?
It happens everywhere from time to time.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that we're having war zone problems.
Yeah,
by
chronic
any means,
problems with it. Yeah, yeah.
But that's something that we deal with from time to time.
Sure. Well, when it comes to the 4th of July, obviously, we talked about the heat and kind of that spilling over into the domestic side of things. And let's just speak to, neighborliness, friendliness as all these large gatherings happen. There's probably going to be some overlap of homes in there and the things they're doing. Let's just kind of speak to some of those things, if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, one of the biggest things is, like I said before, as the temperature rises, sometimes the tempers do too. And it happens in the wintertime with cabin fever as well. You're just locked up inside for so long with the same person, and maybe you're not getting along. My advice is just take a break, and I don't mean that as a permanent one. I just mean go find some alone time and calm down instead of always trying to be the one who's right. It's never worked out for me.
Right. Sure. Well, and to that end, you talked about the domestic side of things. Domestic abuse, spousal things, conflicts, are those on the rise at all in Lincoln? What are you noticing there, Chief?
Yeah. So domestic issues are probably the number one problem that we have. Again, it's not just representative of my jurisdiction. I think it's probably all. That's just life nowadays, and we have to learn to deal with it and try to help people through their problems, not just haul everybody off to jail.
Right. Sure. Well, again, 4th of July, it'll probably be hot out there, those sorts of things. I mean, the adult beverage or two will probably be consumed. Let's speak to, responsibly doing that, but also, keeping yourself hydrated and healthy through the course of those celebrations and all that. How about some of those things, Chief?
Yep. Knowing when to quit is a good knowledge to have. So that's number one.
Probably gotten the best of some of us every now and then.
Sure. Yeah. So I would say the biggest number one 4th of July safety tip is that alcohol and anything that goes boom don't mix well. So just keep them separate. Well
said. Very good, Chief. And again, anything on 4th of July I didn't touch on with you? You want to put out there anything of that nature?
Like I said, we have our city fireworks plan at the Park District. It's always a big event, always done well. So I hope to see a lot of people out there enjoying it. That's another thing where we usually go out and have some officers cooking and handing out waters and things like that for our DARE program. So you'll see them out there.
They still have the big baseball tournament out there that weekend? I can't answer that. When I was a kid, 4th of July, there was always a big baseball tournament out at the rec center. And we had games. If it was a weekend, we had games all weekend, or if it was a weekday, we'd have games all week. So
yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it is still going on. But
great facility out there.
It's not on my radar yet.
Gotcha.
And then July, we will hold our last Third Friday event.
Oh yeah, Third Fridays. How are those going?
So really good. We had a big one called Nashville Nights in June, and had some bands out there. And I think everybody had a great time. So.
Nice. Cool. Yeah. And it seems like kind of a real mellow community event, even though there is some alcohol involved, it just seems like that thing goes off without a hitch.
We usually have very few problems there. Every once in a while,
knock on wood, right?
Every once in a while, maybe somebody has to be asked to leave, but we haven't had any big problems.
There you go. And then I'm sure that's a good opportunity to just meet the community in a relaxed environment, Yeah,
and you'll see a lot of the city alderman, the mayor, other elected officials down there. So, you get to meet your community representatives there.
Sure.
It's a good event to have.
Good deal. Chief, did I miss anything on some of those things? 4th DARE, heat safety, anything we didn't touch on you want to put out there for us?
No, the only other community event that I can pull off top of my head right now is the police department's going to partner with Logan Mason Rosk, which is the recovery oriented systems of care in August, on August 9th from 12 to 3.
What you doing?
We're going to hang out at Hope on 5th Street. We're going to have some speakers, maybe even some live entertainment, do a little cooking, some maybe pork chop sandwiches or hamburgers and hot dogs, something like that. And the police and the recovery community are going to get together. We're going to call the event Breaking Barriers. And that's just to, try to minimize some of the stigma that maybe the recovery community has about the police and the police have about the recovery community.
What are some of those, if you don't mind breaking that down? The stigmas? Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. You know, when you're talking about somebody who's in recovery, obviously they've had a problem with something at some point in time in their lives, whether that be drug, alcohol, or mental health. And there are certain stigmas. You know, there's officers out there that maybe don't have all the experience built up yet that look at these folks like, the only time I ever see them, they're messed up, you know, but it doesn't make them
less
any
human,
better or worse than anybody else. So they're just another person in our community that we need to make sure that we have respect for. And when we show that, the reverse stigma also can be affected. You know, these people look at cops as, if I see one of those guys, that means I'm going to take a ride I don't want to. And that's just not always true. And so we want to break those barriers down and address those stigmas from both sides.
Speak to your partnership with ROSC, how that program is going in Logan County. You know, how about that?
Yeah, so ROSC is one of them, but we have many others that are partnering on a project called Task Deflection. Something that's actually going on here in DeWitt County, partnered with Piatt and I think Champaign. Their group is. We will be Logan, Mason, and Menard counties. And this program is designed to get folks who are struggling the help they need, and they can do that through the police department. It's a program that's going to kind of replace what we used to have called safe passages.
I remember you talking about that with us.
Yep, has a little bit better resources than what we had back then.
How so?
The biggest number one thing is they'll have four full-time task deflection specialists and a supervisor. These are folks that are out in the field, boots on the ground, that will actually do what they call relentless engagement. So if there's a member of the community struggling, needs help with whatever kind of services, even if it's not substance use services, it's just social services. They go out and meet them every day and get them what they need, and make sure they get to treatment or whatever they need. Make sure that they can get those services.
Chief, great conversation. It's nice to kind of veer away from the doom and gloom of crime and all of that. It's really, really good stuff today. I appreciate you coming out with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely. Lincoln Police Chief Joe Meister in studio with us here this morning. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Of course, we stream live online all the time at DeWittDailyNews.com. Network news comes up next on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.